when you're a new mom and you're not used to having a new baby around, and you don't know you don't realize like the crying and the symptoms of a baby. You think there's something wrong with him all the time every time he cries.
Oh. Yeah. What's wrong?
Okay, so let's move you up now on your side. Becoming a parent is an absolute joy, and most people say it's one of the greatest moments of their lives. But there's no question it's also filled with challenges. Hi, my name is Harvey Karp. I'm a pediatrician, and for almost 30 years I've helped parents understand and care for their new babies. As you know, your top job as a new parent is to love your baby like crazy. But after you've showered her with affection, your two next important jobs are to feed her successfully and to calm her when she cries. Fortunately, feeding a baby is usually pretty easy, and if you do run into trouble, there are many places you can turn for help. Soothing a screaming baby, on the other hand, can be surprisingly tough.
And I don't always figure this out because he's well fed at this moment, and he should be passed out after great feeding. But as we can see, this is the coughing, grunting kid.
We had no idea that it could be that difficult and that she could cry day after day after day. You know, you get really desperate.
Because you do think that you get home from the hospital and you have this image of you with your sweet babe falling asleep, you know, all cuddled up in you. And I swear it has not been one time that he's done that yet. And it has been frustrating for me as a mother, too, to think that I'm doing a bad job. They never really tell you how intense it is until you live it.
Parents are often told that when their baby cries, it's because she's having pains or indigestion or has swallowed air. So you would think that from the swallowed air, he got upset.
Right.
And yet, certainly,
But he's like he
doesn't have pain now. Pain would not go away in a second. It turns out that very, very few babies are crying because of gas pain. Many babies are like smoke alarms. They make one big shrieky sound no matter what the problem is. And you can't tell from a smoke alarm if the house is on fire or if you just burnt some toast. Many babies blast out their pain cry, even when they just have a little burp. Although it's completely instinctual to want to soothe your screaming baby, it's not at all instinctual knowing how to do it. Baby calming is a skill. I don't know if you guys know this, but there are some cultures around the world where babies cry an average of 30 seconds or 60 seconds. In other words, they don't go on and on and on. Their mothers respond to them quickly, and the babies calm down quickly. So there's got to be some way to help our crying babies. And there is. Watch Noah, as his crying simply melts away when I use some of the techniques you're about to learn. And then this last part is up and across. This is the belt that holds the whole wrap together. And pull it very slow and tuck it in. Now you can see that didn't calm him down. But now let's put him on his side. Magic? A miracle? No, it's a reflex. A reflex that all babies are born with, that, believe it or not, will turn off their cries and screams almost like turning off a light switch. You're about to meet a group of brand new parents who came together to learn how to see the world through their baby's eyes and how to soothe their infant's fussiness. Fortunately, calming unhappy babies is easy with the help of some simple techniques used for centuries by the world's most gifted baby calmers. These techniques are based on 3 wonderful new ideas. The first idea is the revolutionary concept called the 4th trimester. Babies are very immature when they're born, And they need lots of cuddling and rocking and shushing. That's what kept them calm and happy inside the womb. And that's why you should think of the first 3 months of your baby's life as your 4th trimester. The calming reflex is an amazing and totally natural way for you to soothe your baby's cries in minutes. And finally, the 5 S's are 5 incredibly effective techniques for turning on your crying baby's calming reflex and replacing her tears with tranquility. Now, I invite you to sit back and join me as I visit with these families and they gather together in a class and in their homes to learn how to help their babies become the happiest babies on the block. God knows you were probably more than ready to have your baby after 9 long months of pregnancy. But in many ways, our babies are unprepared for the world. Many parents imagine that the new babies will be almost as bright and responsive as a 4-month-old. But unlike animals whose babies are mature at birth, our newborns are more like fetuses than infants. Baby horses are able to stand and even run on their very first day of life. And they have to be able to do this, or they're not going to survive. Our babies are very immature by comparison. Our survival does not depend on running. It depends on having big brains and being intelligent. Our babies are born early because their brains are so big they have to come out. They can't wait inside any longer. They can't wait for the brain to finish its development. So in many ways, the first 3 months of our baby's life, they're still a fetus. And that's why I call the first 3 months the 4th trimester. During this 4th trimester, babies often get upset because they're missing the sensations that surrounded them before their birth. So the question is, what's it like inside a uterus? Well, there's constant sound. The sound is a little bit louder than a vacuum cleaner. 24 hours a day, that's what your baby's been hearing. There's constant jiggly movement. You can imagine what it's like when you're walking up the stairs or in an exercise class. That's a tremendous amount of movement that the baby is feeling. And then, of course, the third thing is there's confinement. Babies are very tightly packaged up inside the uterus. They don't have room to move around. They're very cozy. Because mothers have known intuitively for thousands of years that the way to calm their baby down is to imitate these qualities of the uterus. But until today, no one has known why that works. It isn't that it reminds the baby of being inside the uterus. What it is that babies have a reflex called the calming reflex. And this reflex is the automatic shut-off switch for a baby's crying. Babies are run by many, many reflexes. They cry, for example. You don't teach your baby how to cry. You didn't have to teach Sydney how to cry. They're born knowing how to cry. They're born knowing how to swallow. They're born knowing how to suck. All of those are built-in reflexes. Mm-hmm. Well, an amazing new discovery is that they're also born with a calming reflex. That's literally an off switch for crying. If a doctor hits your knee, your foot goes out. It's not any great surprise. You know it's going to happen because reflexes are automatic behaviors. If your doctor hits your knee but does it in the wrong place or does it too softly, nothing happens. For a reflex to be initiated, you have to do it exactly right. And if you don't do exactly right, it doesn't work well.
It's amazing because she'll fight me, and then I'll find that position or that right jiggle, and then she just turns into Jello. Mm-hmm. I'm there, Dad. Thanks.
Yeah, because it's a reflex. Mm-hmm. And that's how quickly it can work. When you do it exactly right, boom.
Right.
It really helps. Anyone can do these things. Can anyone learn how to do a knee reflex? Oh, you just have a knack with knee reflexes. I mean, anyone can learn how to do a knee reflex. And anyone can learn how to trigger their baby's calming reflex with just a little bit of practice and a little bit of trial and error.